I'm here with Jan of Amorphis to talk about the upcoming new record. Borderland comes out September 26th on RPM, the band's 15th record. Wow, what a discography you guys have put together over the years, I must say. So, how's things going with you?
Pretty well, pretty well. I'm sitting here in my home studio preparing some mixes for my other band and waiting for Borderland to come out. Basically, there's still a little bit over a month that is getting released, and some rehearsals coming up and some tour production and stuff like that. So very excited to get this thing on the road finally.
I'm sure you guys have been working for it in a long time. And actually, that's my first question. The album comes out September 26th, but how long ago did you guys finalize the record? How long have you guys been sitting on this album?
Well, since January, I guess, January, February, we started recording like early January, right after the Christmas. And I cut drums for like 5, 6 days, and then I went back home, and the guys stayed there and finished their parts and stuff, and then of course mixing and some additional recording and all kinds of stuff like that. So I think it was mixed like late February or early March or something like that. So it's been a few months, yeah, sitting on it, and obviously there's few singles released. So there's been a little taste for the fans for what's about to come, and a couple of videos that we released already, as you probably know, and so yeah, it's but it's nice always finally to get it out and to get to play the music live and stuff. So it's always a different ball game. So yeah.
Over the years, have the way the band approach making a new album changed, or you guys are pretty stuck in your ways, and that's the process that you use every single record?
Well, kind of stuck, I would say. Because these days it's so easy with modern technology and stuff, and but people, the guys, and pretty much everyone makes songs at home, and make a rough demo out of it and put it on a Google Drive somewhere, so we can gather the whole pile of demos that we're actually working with, and everybody takes a listen, and everybody comes up with their own ideas and parts, and then finally we take it to a rehearsal place, and it's a rather fairly short period of time. We just get everybody get familiarized with the material, and then we just take it from there, and then take it to the studio. Usually, of course, before that, send the material over to the producer, and let them usually change the whole, like the actual tracks that will come for the album sessions, because we usually come up with like 25, 30 demos. So and everybody makes songs, and so it's if we start fighting amongst ourselves, like whose songs are ending up on the recording process, it's a never-ending a cycle. So like so yeah, it's pretty much been pretty much the same, ever since the sort of modern times, like ever since Eclipse or something like that.
When you look at that whole process, is there an aspect of making an amorphous record that it doesn't matter the years, it doesn't matter how many records you guys have done, it always ends up being the most challenging, either be to choose the track listing, to choose the songs, to choose the artwork. Is there one piece of the puzzle that's always the most problematic?
Well, that's a good question. Not really. I mean, ever since we sort of started working with world-class producers, that sort of task becomes a whole lot easier, because I mean, we don't have to be in charge of everything. So there's sort of a seventh member of in the band during that period of production, who's helping us along the way. And sometimes it's good because I mean, you sometimes can't see the forest from the tree, so to speak. So it's good to have an external set of ears to sort of choose it. But we used Jens Bogren past three albums, and now Jacob Hansen, and that's to begin with, like, very important reason why you hire producers is to sort of pick the best bunch for the album. And so an artwork, always there's always been some options, I guess, and but usually we just come up with, everybody agrees with the best idea, and stuff like that. So we've been doing this so many years, so there's sort of certain kind of formula at least that everybody knows that what might be somewhere in the ballpark of the album artwork or the music or whatever. So it's fairly easy. Like back in the past, like with Eclipse or Skyforger era, or even before that, when we sort of produced ourselves and everybody was writing songs, that it was huge bunch of songs for an album, and then that might have been a little bit more difficult to find a sort of common ground to find a suitable songs and a suitable like the album concept and stuff. But these days it's been fairly easy, I guess.
I don't know if you're going to agree with what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyways. I felt like Halo was a really cumbersome album at times, like demanding from the listener, unlike Queen of Time and unlike Borderland. I find Borderland,
Mm.
of the three latest records, if I look at Queen of Time, Halo, and now this one, I think Borderland is probably the easiest one to listen to. It has a simplified process to it that makes the album immediately super catchy and super hooky. Not that Queen of Time wasn't, but Queen of Time still had some tracks that really demanded quite a bit from the listener. Was this a process that you guys thought about coming from those two records? Let's make an album that's a little bit easier for the listener, or is just what happened in that creative space?
Well, firstly, I totally agree. It is way more easy approach for the listener, and as I mean, from the let's put it like past three records under Red Cloud, Queen of Time, and Halo was all pretty progressive albums, but especially Halo to me is perhaps the most progressive, most heavy, most complex, like what comes to songwriting or song structures or time signatures or amount of growling vocals and you know very guitar driven, like sort of a more rough around the edges, more harsh record. And I guess that was probably intentional choice from a producer at that time, Jens Bogren, because he probably didn't want to sort of replicate it, under the Red Cloud or especially Queen of Time being massive success and certain kind of vibe and stuff and so like he chose the songs for Halo and it ended up being very artistic and proggy record and but yeah, I mean, the other question, like, was it? I don't know if it was intentional to have Borderland like as it is, but I think when I heard the demo takes for that record, like 25 tracks or something, it seemed to me that everybody had sort of a little bit more melodic approach and a more perhaps simplified version of the sound of Amorphis today, as opposed to Halo, Queen of Time have been very massive and proggy records. So yeah, I totally agree on that, and I'm actually very happy to that you said that, and actually a lot of people been saying that, and that's exactly 100% how I feel about it myself. And I find it refreshing to have a little bit more simple and catchy approach this time. And to me, it sort of feels like we're taking a step a little bit backwards to the universe of the era of Eclipse and Skyforger and albums like that, perhaps.
From your standpoint as a drummer, do you enjoy playing these songs live more than the more proggier ones, or do you enjoy the proggier ones more than the simple ones?
I don't really care, and I don't really even compare them. In that, I mean, every song is challenging in its own right, I guess, and sometimes simple songs and simple approach can be actually equally challenging or even more difficult, especially in the studio situation, to not to play too much, and because those sometimes, I mean, this is a bit of a cliche, but those breaks between hits are equally important than the hits themselves. So like, I take every song, with a similar approach that if I need to play something that the song needs, then I'll take that route, and that's how it goes. And I enjoy both. Surely, every musician likes to play a bit more challenging stuff, and but I like both. It's nice to play simple bangers and easy songs that people can dance to, or nudge their head to, or whatever. And I think they're both equally kind of satisfying, I guess.
To be a drummer in Amorphis, what is that one quality that you must possess in order to be successful at that job?
Well, I need to I need to support the music. That's my main goal. And the main, we've been playing so long together with this lineup, and almost the same lineup, like 15, 16 years, or even more. And we kind of got to know what each other is aiming for, and sometimes the song doesn't need that much, and I have to sort of realize that, and not to offer like my trickiest chops that I can do, because I mean it doesn't serve the purpose. And so because there is more important things than drums going on, like like a vocal, usually a guitar melody, that is sort of the hook of the song. And so I need to support the melody. I need to support the music, and sort of give that sort of a backbone, I guess.
Do you take any liberties when it comes to playing live and tweaking the songs just a little bit?
Yeah, all the time, all the time. Like, I mean, to me, the recorded version of any particular song is just a version, right? I mean, and because there's always limited time on to record the album and come up with ideas or whatever, and that to me it sort of feels like there's always something is being left out. And it doesn't mean like something left out that I tried for the record and everybody agrees it doesn't work. So it doesn't mean that I'm gonna do it live. But like surely we come up with some accents with the rhythm section, or we might lengthen some section with the solos, or there might be several occasions that the live version is different. And that's been around with us all over the years. Like every time we take the new record to the live situation, and it starts sort of living its own life from then on. And we always come up with sort of new ideas and new little nuances and accents and stuff like that for the live, and that makes the live more interesting for us and for the listener too, I guess.
hmm what are you more comfortable sitting behind the drum kit when you're sitting in the studio or when you're sitting at a live performance?
Well, live performance, of course. I mean, that's you're playing for the people, and there's always the danger, and there's the excitement and the adrenaline, and but it's a whole different ball game. Like studio is, I mean, sometimes you take them in parts, and it's totally different approach of playing music in general. I mean, and the fact that you can always do it again if you fuck up or whatever, but you can't do it in the life situation. You fuck up, okay, let's forget about it and go on, because like you can't stop, and there's no retake. So like so yeah, live is of course way more sort of exciting, I guess. Yeah.
Some of the older tracks, do you play them just straight out of muscle memory? Like you're not even thinking about it. You just know exactly where to go?
Yeah, well, it depends, of course. Like, I mean, yeah, some classics like House of Sleep or Silver Bride, or Black Winter Day, or whatever. Surely, I mean, you don't have to. I've played them thousands of times. So, I mean, like, even though we had a long break now, but if I need to go on stage and play House of Sleep right now, I mean, it would be all right. Even though I haven't been playing that much lately, but because it is in the muscle memory, and I guess all of the songs we played, but if there would be like some sort of more random song that we haven't played for years or something like that, surely you have to refresh that muscle memory a little bit to get it going, and get that sort of overall stamina and feel like back in the game. And but it's always like that, like even if you rehearse and take the rehearsals, and start playing, with the band again after like long break and stuff. But you still need a couple shows like under your belt to actually start start to find a sort of groove and lock in with the other guys and stuff. It's always a challenge of its own right, I guess.
When it comes to putting, you're talking about live. When it comes to putting a set list together, you guys got 15 records now with this one. I'm sure it's becoming very difficult to make everybody happy with any set list. How much discussion goes into before you head out on a tour on what songs you guys gonna play?
Well, some discussion. This, I mean, like we sort of, I mean, everybody has their own favorites, right? Like, you can't always totally agree on everything, even though we're brothers and friends for ages and stuff. But somebody might find some other song more appealing than some other song, and vice versa. And it's uh and I mean, we are not here to. So surely we would like to play material that we like, but you have to find sort of a set list that will is appealing to us and the audience, and lately it's been fairly easy. I mean, at least for choosing live tracks from a new record, for example, but. The complete live set, of course, depending on if it's a festival set or if it's a club show, like with a longer headline show or whatever. It's a bit easier, of course, because there's more songs, but there's never enough time to cover everything, right? Or at least some of it. I mean, there's so much stuff being left out. Uh, you know. You just can't help it. There's no time. So we try to come up with always like a nice set list that covers at least some of the most important eras or something like that. And that is of course always up to debate whether or not we succeed or not. Because there's always going to be disappointed fans and always going to be disappointed band members. You can't please anybody. Somebody's always going to be disappointed. But like we try our best, and it's never easy. Yeah.
Is there one song that, regardless if you're playing 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or an hour and a half, that one song has to be there?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's few, I guess, like Black Winter Day, um, House of Sleep, I guess The Bee, Silver Bride, from the new material, maybe The Moon. Uh, I might have forgotten a ton of important ones, but those are usually the sort of the backbone. I guess Wrong Direction, maybe Among Stars from the new material. But as you said, it depends so much on the nature of the festival. Let's put it that way. Like if it's a total heavy metal brutal assault or something like that, we might come up with heavier tracks. And if it's a mainstream festival, might come up with more radio friendly tracks. And we have a lot of those at both sort of ends
Mhm.
of the scale. So in that case, it's good to have a diverse material, so we can actually a little bit choose like what kind of vibe we're going into. Yeah, it's not easy, but yeah, some songs are pretty mandatory, of course. Yeah.
Who was one of your biggest influences growing up that made you want to be a drummer?
Well, first it was Elvis Presley when I was like a 9 year old or something like that. After that, probably like Kiss, AC/DC, Deep Purple, Iron Maiden, of course, and like White Snake. And after that, there's so many, it's impossible to cover them all. But after that, of course, Metallica, um, so Slayer, and then of course for the more death metal side, like Morbid Angel, Bolt Thrower, Carcass, stuff like that. But there's huge range of music that we listen to when we were kids, and of course when we uh, you know recorded our first record, and especially in the Tales era, gone way over to the progressive 70s stuff and all kinds of different like non-metal stuff and folk music, electronic music, all kinds of stuff like that. So there's been huge vast selection of influences that we covered over the years. So yeah.
I wonder if there's something in the water in Finland. I mean, you guys have an amazing pool of musicians, regardless guitar player, singer, bass player, drummers, but
Mm,
drummers specifically. You got yourself, you got Valtteri, who's with Opeth now, Kai, who's with Nightwish. I mean,
mm.
it seems like if you want to be a drummer, you need to be born in Finland. Why? What
Well,
is the reason for this incredible quality of talent?
no, no, yeah, well, not necessarily. There's a pretty huge selection of drummers that pretty cool from outside Finland, and yeah, and the Finnish. But I think in Finland we had pretty good school system for music, like past 50, 60 years already, and so some reason metal just seemed to be the most successful form of music that's been coming out from Finland. But there's a lot of like great jazz drummers, a lot of great rock drummers, and a lot of guys from all kinds of genres. And I don't know where that's coming from. I guess people are just very determined to sort of produce quality music here in Finland, and yeah, I'm super happy that it got recognized so well over the years, outside Finland, and people are getting deserved recognition for their work, and but yeah, I mean it's funny when you say 'cause, I mean surely Kai and Valtteri and there's several other my favorite drums from Finland, but mostly like my favorite drummers are actually not from Finland. And they're usually American or English or something like that. But yeah, I guess we done something right, or then it must be the tap water, as you said, which is the purest tap water in the world. So
Yeah, either that or the sauna. Yeah, I mean, something is
yeah, the
happening.
sauna might be one. Yeah, and lake, the Finnish
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think those tall boys plus some sauna. I think all of that put together, and then you have a bunch of
yeah.
musicians and drummers.
Yeah, must be something like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think it's definitely something like that. I
yeah.
remember you covering for Delane when you guys tour with Delane in North America.
I
Uh,
did. Yeah.
for a drummer, how is it for you to last minute like that be asked to cover for another band? Is it a quick process to learn their material? How do you go through it?
Well, that was pretty quick because for some reason, Joey, their current drummer, didn't have the visa for some reason, and I heard about that like 3 days, 4 days prior to the tour, and they were asking like if I'm willing to do it. So I learned literally the set list in 2 days, and I mean roughly, surely that wasn't perfect for the first few days, but yeah, I mean, look, I have a pretty good musical memory, and I can sort of, and that wasn't too proggy or too complicated music, so I mean, I was able to sort of familiarize it somehow, like during those 2 3 days, and then just listen in the plane and listen when you sleep and listen everywhere you go, just listen and listen, just subconsciously will sink in, and yeah, I mean that was an experience. I don't know if I wouldn't want to do that necessarily every tour, and because it is also physically pretty challenging to play 2 shows in a row. And but I mean, it went well, surprisingly well, and it was a fun experience. And yeah,
Well, I hopefully it's not going to happen on your next tour with Arch Enemy. Nobody's going to ask you to fill in on drums on that one. Are
no,
you
I couldn't
excited?
do that. I mean, I could immediately say no. I can't learn those songs like not in 10 years, So like that's not gonna happen.
Are you excited about this tour run with Arch Enemy across Europe?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's gonna be a great big tour, and we're already friends with Arch Enemy because we toured with them with Nightwish, like I don't know, a little bit less than 10 years ago or something like that. And we of course met them along the road like many times, and they're cool guys and girls, and they have a nice crew, and it's gonna be a nice setup. It's also Eluveitie on the bill, and
Mhm.
Gate Creeper, I think they're from US or something.
Yeah, they are. They are.
And yeah, so it's a good bill of different kind of bands and different kind of music, and yeah, totally looking forward to it.
It's going to be a killer ass tour, like you said. It's a killer lineup. This will be the first tour following the album release, so a lot of things to be excited about. Where else are you looking forward to the future? Coming back to North America on a tour run supporting this record?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, obviously, the Arch Enemy Tour is a support tour, so we can play that huge. I think it's gonna be like 15 minutes set or something. So we are actually swapping the first sort of direct support slot with Elevate night after night. So it's a little bit better for both bands that you know. So we have similar time and like a set time, and but you know, obviously with this kind of catalog, we can't cover that much of the material and especially the new stuff. And so we probably end up playing the singles or something like that. And so I'm kind of looking forward for the Finland tour after that, because that's gonna be the headline tour, the first one after the release of Borderland. So obviously we get to play more and longer sets and choose and pick like more songs from the new album, and also some some more songs from the old material, and maybe even change the core of the set list a little bit, and hopefully add a little bit sort of live things like some solo sections or something like that, and that would be nice. So like, yeah, I'm looking for the Finland tour, and of course, um, so they will play 70,000 tons of metal, and so I'm looking forward to that. And after that, there's some more touring coming up, a lot of festivals next summer in Finland and in Europe, and I think after that we got some plans for like Asia, USA. South America and stuff like that, Australia. So like, yeah, looking forward. It's gonna be a busy few years, I guess.
Yeah, you guys are always busy between records and touring. Really, like you guys are super busy. Jan, thank you very much for your time today, man. I really appreciate your jumping on
Thank
this
you.
call, kind of like short notice. So I really want to say thank you for taking the time. It's always a pleasure to see
No
you.
worries. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Always a pleasure, man. And first time that we sit down, next time we have to sit down and talk about your other projects, but which
Yeah.
I also enjoy listening to and talking to you about it. So,
Yeah, there's new stuff coming out soonish, and so we're actually, as we speak, working on some mixes here in my home studio, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming out with the Eternal too, and it's gonna be exciting times.
all right, we'll be chatting about that in the future. Thank you very much for your time
Absolutely.
today.
All right. Thanks, Pedro.
Take care, man.
Cheers. Have a nice evening.